I mean, it's a hard-fought win. I mean, it's a good team. We allowed them to creep back into that with the walks late. But it was one of those. I'd much rather be going home a lot earlier, but it's good to see a little bit of adversity where you think you've got the game, you cough it up because of your own miscues, but still have the maturity to fight through that and get some big hits and win a baseball game, which is, I think, the goal. So, I was proud of the way the guys battled back even after a couple miscues there late.
What did you think of the miscue specifically? Drew in right field. I know he doesn't have a lot of experience there, and then Spencer with it seemed like a little bit of a high throw, but one I'm sure he would say that he should make.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what are you going to say? If you've ever played right field too, right field, outfield, if you've ever played outfield, the toughest ball to catch is the one that's hit with some velo at you. It's a tough one. So I would say whether Swift is there or not, it's still a pretty interesting play. But maybe the lack of experience led to it. But again, with the Torkelson thing, you're talking about a guy, one of the best players in the country. Those things happen, but not that big a deal. But I thought Alika's play, when it went off the bat, I thought it was going to the outfield anyway. But an unbelievable play by him to even give us a chance. But yeah, Spencer would probably say he'd catch that 99 out of 100 times.
Did you know that Tork's 5 walks tied ASU's single game record for a player?
No.
What's your perspective on that and the fact that
it's going to happen a lot. I mean, it's going to happen a lot. And it's nice that Trevor was able to pick him up behind him because that's a key. The key to the offensive piece, because every situation they're going to do that, and for us to be successful and us to protect that and hopefully limit that is someone's going to have to heat up and do. And I thought Trevor did a really good job tonight with that.
At least short term, it sounded like Drew Swift might see a little bit more time in the outfield until the roster gets a little bit healthier. How do you use what happened tonight as kind of a learning experience, and you teach him something from this and then continue to work on it?
Well, like I said, the toughest ball is a ball hit right at you, and I'm not going to make more out of it than there is if he's our starting second baseman because of need and necessity. We got to move him around to try to get our best combination in there, and he's very willing to do that with limited reps. So he'll practice out there and he'll get better, but I'm not, honestly, it's not a big deal to me because he'll save more runs than that particular play right there.
Eric seemed like he had another really solid outing, 2 in a row. What are you liking from him so far? Stuff, competitiveness. I think as we continue to go and line it up, it's going to be nice. I thought, as that game went, we took him out because we wanted to have him available on the weekend. He could have gone deeper. I think once that happened, we knew one of those innings we're going to have to get an inning out of somebody. And that was kind of our trouble inning, the 8th, when we're trying to piece that thing together. So if you have him performing the way he's performing right now, and you apply that to the weekend, and once we get into conference play, that's going to be a huge weapon coming out of the bullpen. So he just continues to do that. For us, every game's important. So to have that piece midweek too is huge for us. And with Cam Denny being really solid again today, would you try to maybe have him later on in the game if possible?
That was the plan anyway. But at that point, you're looking at the conditions, the wind's blowing in, runs were going to be tough to come by. We just felt like that point in that lineup at that time, because we were coming to the top, I believe, once Eric got the first out, we were like, we got to keep it right here. And then once we made that decision, that's when we said we knew we were going to have to get an inning, that bridge inning of the 8th, and it wasn't too pretty tonight. But that stuff is going to happen. But Cam has proven himself to be very reliable, and now we know how we can use him, and it's a good piece coming out of the pen.
It seems like you have
like he had a little bit of control trouble tonight.
Who's that?
Davovich. Was he just a little off, or what do you?
Well, we've been asking a lot of him, and going into it, we did not want to have a 4-out save with him, but the circumstances tonight called for that. So he's a competitor. He's going to take the ball. I think it's good now. You got some rest days for him coming up before the weekend. I would say, if anything, probably just a little tired.
It seems like you have this really solid group of freshman relievers that you've been able to rely on pretty consistently. How rare is that in your experience as far as management goes to have a group of freshmen to come in that you can really go to right away?
Well, at this point, we're taking the freshman tag off of them because, they're gonna be the bullpen. They've done it. It's nice to see young guys, certainly come in there and compete at this level. You look for, when you're trying to manage a bullpen, and I know I speak for JK, you kind of want to know what you're going to get. Now, guys are going to be a little up and down, but is a guy a strike thrower? Does he throw a breaking ball? I think we're starting to see more where guys are on that, and the guy we haven't talked about, is Bodlovich. Bodlovich is proven now he's going to come in and throw strikes. It may not be the velocity that some of the other guys possess, but that's not our problem right now. We have a 2-run lead tonight. In the 8th, and the only reason they come back, the 2 runs to score, are the ones that we walk. So I think Bodlovich is going to see an increased role simply because he's going to throw strikes and allow his defense to play behind him.
What did Eric show you in the first inning when he got out of that bases loaded jam?
It's funny, I walked up to the dugout and said, "You just showed how good you are." You walk the bases loaded against one of the top hitting teams in the country, and you work your way out of it and make it look easy. So to me, I thought he showed how good he is.
Is there a reason Brady Corrigan still hasn't thrown, other than just, you wanted to get different arms in there?
Well, I have a favorite saying with our athletes sometimes, not sometimes, I always tell them this. I said, sometimes it's not what you're doing, it's just that somebody's doing it a little bit better. So we've got some guys that are performing a little bit better than him right now, and I've said it 1,000 times in here, you'll get what you deserve in this program. And he's, but for him, he's the best attitude, one of the best attitudes on the team, still one of the hardest workers. And we talk about you prepare to pitch, don't wait to pitch, and he's doing exactly that. His day will come. He's going to give us some quality innings, but at this current moment, some guys are performing better than him.
You mentioned last week that Sam Ferry was going to take a trip to a doctor, and you might have an update. Is there any update on him this week?
I'm trying to, where's my sports information director? As I make eye contact with my sports information director. He's going to be out for the season. I'm not allowed until we leave. Yeah. So he's going to be out for the season. I'm sure we'll have more at the appropriate time or when we get the permission to do that, but we are not going to get him back.
Tolman has 20 strikeouts now, and however many innings, 6 and whatever he did tonight. What do you think? What do you attribute the kind of strikeout totals?
He's got good stuff. His velocity's a tick better than it was last year. He's grown up a little bit too, but he's able to get ahead of guys. And if you can pitch on top, you got a chance to get the swing and miss. But his stuff is better. He's done a really good job of shortening the arm on the backside, and he's a lot more confident as well. But that, like I said, that's going to be we limited him tonight, innings-wise, but now look at his pitch total, wasn't so we want to have that available coming out of the pen in the 8th and whatever to get to the Davidovich piece.
Has he started to throw his curveball harder? Is he throwing it with a little bit more velocity than he was last year?
No, he's got 2. He's got a slower one and a harder one, but not sure. Those are JK questions.
When their first baseman dropped that foul ball, baseball guys.
Might as well put it in the book.
Yeah.
Put it in the book. The guy's going to get on.
Did that, then Cheatham gets a hit, and then you go from there, Lincoln gets that big hit?
Oddly, it's funny you mention that because in my mind, I'm sitting here, when you watch what happens on your own side and we don't, get to the ball right and we just flat out drop the ball to end the game. But then I started thinking, well, they did the same thing. That big inning started because they didn't get that first out. So, yeah, that's the old, for those that aren't around the game that much, but you drop a foul pop-up like that, you might as well just go ahead and put base hit or whatever in the book because that's what's going to happen.
How valuable is it to get Dusty Garcia back?
I think it showed tonight. Just by him being able to, he stole the base, he got the bunts down, put pressure on him. That's an element that we're extremely happy to have back in our